My Made in Heaven video did pretty well, so I thought, hey, why not a sequel? Then what stand shall we do? That's a pretty hard decision over the 100 plus. It's the world. We're talking about the world because he's awesome. Enough said. The world, one of the strongest stands in the series up until part 5, and hell, maybe even debatably for majority of the series being a top 5 strongest stand. Its most powerful and most unique ability to itself is its ability to stop time for a maximum of 9 seconds at its peak, and the lowest that we ever saw, 5 seconds. Dio Brando's The World was so powerful, in fact, at any point in the series, majority of it being at the very end, if Dio was not a vampire, could have easily killed all of the Stardust Crusaders right then and there in a made-up scenario where he wasn't a vampire and the plot was still somehow relevant to being there. But in a more logical sense, if all the Stardust Crusaders were at the very end of the story, all ready to fight Dio right then and there, he could easily killed every single one of them in less than, 5 seconds. Imagine a stand as powerful as Star Platinum, minus the perception, of course, but had a longer time stop. Add on a whole bunch of vampiric abilities that made him overpowered as hell. There you go. There's a short description summary of the world's power bases. It's just a really, really OP Star Platinum. But there is a major weakness with this stand, that being its user itself. Now, why do I say this? It's, I don't know why I'm being such a sarcastic dumbass, but Dio is not a good fighter. He monologues too much, and to be totally honest, he can one-shot kill anybody in the series, just like he did Kakyoin. But when Jojo showed up, he just started spewing that classic shonen monologue. Oh, I'm so great, I can beat anybody. Well, then do it then. It's like, come on, you literally have one of the strongest stands in the entire series, but you just talk forever. Why? But that is in Dio's character to do that, being that sarcastic bastard of an asshole, saying how he's come from nothing to something and he's going to save the universe through the Made in Heaven plan before the retcon, or before that I'm just going to take over the world and make everyone evil, which is fine, I guess, but kill them. It's faster than talking. And to be totally honest, if you were to fight the world, it would actually be pretty freaking painless. Kakyoin went from fighting him 1 second to, being dead the next. He got shot into a water storage tank and died. Most likely of trauma or blood loss, maybe. Or, he could be fine. No, he's dead. No, he's definitely dead. There's no way you can survive that. It'd be really great to have Josuke right now. Basically, that short, 5-minute fight is basically how most fights should go down, with Dio literally mercilessly killing you at the end of any fight, probably one-shotting you. The world's terrifying. It basically is, you see his stand, you lose, guaranteed, almost. That almost being Jotaro Kujo and Star Platinum the world, but you'll most likely die. What about King Crimson? God fucking damn it. Okay, that's an entirely different topic on its own and could be, a 30-minute long video if I wanted to, but to keep it summarized, Dio is a vampire and most likely can't be killed by Diavolo since he's actually pretty weak. He can only destroy humans. Star Platinum and the world can probably destroy Diamond anything. That's what they're able to do. Plus, most likely Diavolo won't be able to last 12 hours because it has to be a fair fight, so it goes to morning to day, and it's 12 hours of Dio spamming the world. He most likely will gain a time stop of over 30 seconds. He rapidly gained from 5 to 9 in the span of maybe, I think it was about 2 hours of, Jotaro versus Dio, technically, or maybe in a few minutes. If it was a few minutes, no, oh my god, no, Diavolo's murdered. Oh my god. And that's another thing. The world is spammable. There's been major debates in the Jojo community about, is the world spammable? And people usually bring it up to a stamina and mental stamina argument, which, okay, here's the thing. If it's stamina, the world literally has infinites of it. Dio is a literal vampire and can do anything. So yeah, he's totally fine there. If it's mental stamina, Dio was all there for a majority of the fight until, Jotaro blasted his freaking head in. So I guess it's kind of fine there too. Either Dio is spammable in the world's time stop ability, or it's semi-spammable for him. So Dio's OP either way still. I think I covered almost everything about the world. Dio's character isn't that deep or anything. To be totally honest, everybody knows about him. He's been in the first 5 parts of the series, being heavily influenced and being somewhat there somehow either way. The world's just a pretty cool stand overall. Nothing else much to say. I guess. Enter Diego Brando, goddammit. One of the best characters in Steel Ball Run, one of the most underrated characters in Steel Ball Run, and has his own world. And he also rides horses. We're actually going to be talking about a specific kind of Diego here. You see, in early Steel Ball Run, Diego was a were dinosaur. Yeah, that was really weird. Early Steel Ball Run was weird. Remember when everyone thought Sandman was going to be a main character, and then that never happened? RIP. Early Diego was just a creature of the night. He was a were-velociraptor. That's a better translation of what I was trying to say earlier. But in all, Diego was basically just part one Dio, but with horses. He liked horses. It's basically what you could assume what Dio would have became if, he never became a vampire, basically. Just a dude that likes to spend money and find his way into family somehow. R.I.P. that old lady. He's so poisonous. There's no way he didn't. Diego's a dick. He's just Dio, but spelled differently. In actuality, we're not talking about early Diego. We're actually talking about late Diego, because there actually is a significant difference. That significant difference being is that Diego from the later half of Steel Ball Run is actually from an alternate universe where he had a stand and not a were-like creature velociraptor transformation given to him by another stand user. That was weird. That honestly was so weird. But it was fun. It was really fun to see a Diosaur every once in a while. Now, here's more of the speculative part of this series. I'm guessing, since I did that in the last video with the whole supernatural black hole thing, how did alternate universe Diego gain his stand? It's actually super simple to think about, actually. Most likely, Diego never fell off his horse during chapter 28 of the manga and never stayed in the pit long enough for, Dr. Ferdinand to find his body and transform him into a were-velociraptor. More than likely, he actually helped Johnny and Diego fight off the creatures during that part initially, and most likely stole the eye, one of the turbo eyes that Gyro got, and gained his stand, the world, most likely in that alternative universe. But that is high speculation on my part, so do not take that as canon whatsoever. But it is a fun alternative timeline. I'd love to see a little fan manga about that, how he gained it during that fight. That'd be super interesting and super cool. I'd totally review that. Now here's the crazy thing. In this most likely alternative timeline, which could be radically different from the Steel Ball Run timeline that we saw in the manga, the world should have technically been able to kill Bunny Valentine. Had the ability to go to different universes with a whole nother ability. It's highly complicated. I don't really want to get into it. It involves services and touching them and being enclosed. It's stupid. It's complicated. I have to do that completely on a different video. But technically, the world should be able to fight D4C pretty effectively. Remember, the world is one of the most strongest stands in the series. And Diego, yes, maybe not being a super powerful version of himself, not being a vampire, of course, should still have a lot of power to him. So, is it just because Diego's a different character and likes to do things differently? Probably. Or the world in the alternative timeline isn't as strong as, part 3's world, which totally could be the case. Or he gained his ability during the train fight arc, which could make sense, but not really. The Diego we saw at the end of Steel Ball Run had way too much experience with his stand, so you could say it might be a plot hole, or maybe Diego gained it during the middle of the Steel Ball Run race, but it's highly speculative and I don't really want to get too heavily into it. So does the world from part 3 and the world from part 7 have the same ability? Yes. The only significant difference is Diego's world only lasts 5 seconds. That's basically it. Really nothing else, actually. They're basically the same stand. There's not really much of a difference except, in physical power and physical feature, actually. So they're really the same, actually. There's not much of a difference unless you want to count character design, but other than that, it's just the character and how they use them is the major difference. Dio likes it up close and personal, and Diego likes to keep it very far and away, but that could have been just because, Tusk was an OP stand and Diego didn't want any of that smoke, because Tusk Act 4 is a completely different monster on its own and involves an entirely, video in itself, actually. But either way, these two stands can kill you either way. 5 seconds, 9 seconds, 30 seconds, you most likely will die to one of these overpowered stands. There's a reason why they didn't show up till the very end of the series and not the middle. At least you'll die a quick and simple death, right? If you consider that a plus. Well, that's the end of the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Stay hydrated. Follow me on Twitter. See you in the next one, ladies and gentlemen.